Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. Everybody, our next guest is President of SHOPX Web3 ecommerce, co-founder and chief growth officer of dating and AI-powered matchmaking in service. He founded a VC Saas platform that worked he also worked at Snap and in Barcelona, in DC and Barcelona, and as a consultant for Fortune 500 companies going through a bankruptcy process. He is also an expert on things like blockchains and cryptocurrencies. And one of the reasons why we wanted to have him on the show, so that he could tell us more about these things and how they actually could be affecting our economy. Some of his most present interests are Web3, and we're going to ask some questions about what Web3 actually means, AI, and quantum spirituality. So he's got a lot of things going on for him. Along with that, he loves to play chess, Muay Thai, and other games to really truly activate the brain. And trust me, the guy is a genius. But at the same time, while he's a genius, he's down to earth and wants to simply help people and help our world develop into a better place. So why don't we meet Eric McHugh, and we'll bring him on the show. Welcome to the show, Eric, and you got some really valuable information, one on blockchains and Web3, what that really means to us, and why don't we start off and dive into that?
Hey, Michael, and again, thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful. In terms of Web3, if you're trying to understand what Web3 is and why it's important to go back to Web 1 versus Web 2 versus Web 3. So in Web 1, the easiest way to think about it is read only. If you're online in Web 1, you could read content, which is great because this really expedited the spread of information, which helped us all move forward as humans. Web 2, the easiest way to frame that is as social media. So just think of Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. In Web 2, you can read and you can write. So I can write an Instagram post. You can read that Instagram post. You can interact with that post. You can do what you will with that my content. The only issue is we don't own the content. So in that Instagram example, Instagram owns the content. They can cancel us whenever they want. They can sell my data for nefarious purposes. It's really up to them. Instagram has the power. In Web3, I want you to think of read, write, and own. So in Web3, I can read content, I can write content, and I can own the content. And the vehicle for owning the content is either a cryptocurrency or a non-fungible token or NFT for short. This is important because let's say hypothetically, I create an NFT, I give you the NFT. Now there's a relationship between me and you, and I can send value your way because the NFT proves our relationship. And the cooler part is you own the NFT. I created the NFTs, but so I can't take it away from you.
Yeah.
The government can't take away that NFT from you. Instagram can take away the NFT from you. You can decide what to do with the NFT.
Yeah. Define what NFT means.
So NFT stands for non-fungible token. So essentially that means digital scarcity on the internet. A nice analogy I like to use is just think of an NFT as like a plot of land in cyberspace. You own the
Mm-hmm.
NFT, you own the plot of land, you get to decide what to do with that NFT. So for example, like if it's in real life, I own a plot of land, I may build a house, I may build a garden, I may build a business. It's up to me. So if NFT, like you own that NFT in cyberspace, you decide what benefits go into that NFT. So, for example, my area of expertise is e-commerce. I can add brand benefits, but you could add exclusive content as a podcaster. If you're a famous musician, you could add access to in real life events. It's up to the creator to decide.
Okay, that makes sense. It's kind of basically creating more. Well, with Web one, because I've been in kind of in the internet thing since Web one. Um, that your only real estate was your domain name. So now
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
creating larger plots of land that we can own. Yeah, that makes sense.
And even in Web 1 with the domain name, you don't actually own the domain name. So the server, like the GoDaddies or whoever leased out the domain name,
Hmm.
they own the domain name so they can take it back from you wherever you want. Whereas in Web3, even the domain name is owned by the user. So there's a protocol called the ENS protocol. So just think of it like a .com. So I have ericmchugh.com. I also have ericmchugh.eth. So I own ericmchugh.eth. So that's my domain name. I can
Right.
redirect whatever I want to ericmchugh.eth, but then no one can take it away from me because it's owned by me. It's owned by my private key, so only I have access to ericmchugh.eth. Because I own that URL, I can redirect the website to it. I can use that as people can send money to ericmchugh.eth. So if I were running a donation service, let's say I owned USCdonations.eth, which I do, I plan to sell it to them in the future because I can, but they can use that as a donation service. Like, hey, where do I donate? Oh, just send money to USCdonations.eth, and then USCdonations.eth, they receive the money. It's their money, and then they can do what they will with it. So they own the domain name in Web3.
Hmm. Let's see. A lot of it sounds like Web three is making it so that it's easier for the individual to own more over over maybe say the larger corporations or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
so in Web3, the internet is owned by the builders and the users versus the large corporations and the governments.
yeah. So with all that, how's that actually going to affect our economy? Because not to be this isn't really a political show, but like a lot of people are out there starving because of lack of funding in our economy.
So I would say, and again, this might get a little political because it's the nature of the topic, but I wouldn't say people are starving because of the lack of funding. I would say people are starving because of too much funding, meaning too much money printing. So hypothetically, when someone prints money, what does that do? Like if I were able to print $10, 10 US
Hmm.
dollars, I would get $10, yes, but I would take $10 of value collectively from the rest of the people. So if we do that scale, let's say print $20 trillion, then from there, your dollars get less. So we see food prices go up, we see housing prices go up, which has resulted in resulted in a scarcity mindset of lack because people can't really afford to do anything. Like look at the price of gas, look at the price of food. I go to Chipotle now, it's like 15 bucks. I'm like, why is Chipotle $15? Chipotle should be a $5 thing. We used to have Subway $5 footlongs, now it's 11 bucks. And that's because they're
Hmm.
printing too much money they're printing too much money to spend their way out of solutions. So I think crypto and Web3 solves this. The reason it solves this is I think it resets the base incentive structure. So let's say hypothetically right now, if I want to become as rich as I possibly could, how do I become rich without doing any work or producing any value? I place myself right next to the money printer and I extract as much as I can, aka governments and politicians. What happens when I extract that wealth from the money printer? I give it to my government consulting like contractor friends. We pay $200 for like a water bottle to that scale. They get rich too. I bring my two other corrupt friends. Now there's three of us sitting right next to the money printer, extracting value and becoming rich off of everyone else. The three of us corrupt politicians, because we have access to money. Like think about lobbying. Where does that money come from? The lobbying, the money it backs us. We stay in power. We bring in three other. We beat the three non-corrupt politicians, and this just scales up over and over again until we have what we have now. So if you look at our economic system right now, there are plenty of people taking from the faucet, from like me, you, and all the hardworking people. We work for our money, but there are people who are just printing money and just spending it willy-nilly. So that's an incentive issue. The incentive is to place yourself next to the money printer. Cryptocurrency and Web3, they fix this. How do they fix this? They create a hard cap. So let's say at a crypto or Bitcoin or Web3 world,
Hmm.
and again, I view wealth as neutral. I think there are good ways to make money. I think there are bad ways to make money. I think there's karmic retribution for both. But let's say it's a crypto world. Let's say, Michael, I want your Bitcoin. How do I get Michael's Bitcoin? Well, I have to produce some value for Michael, and then Michael has to voluntarily send me the Bitcoin. So let's say hypothetically it's a Bitcoin world. Hypothetically, I want a lot of money. How do I do this? It looks like I have to produce a tremendous amount of value for a lot of people. And me as an individual, now my incentives are like, okay, how do I add positivity to the world? But that scales up for a lot of people over time. So it's not just me, it's a million other people thinking, okay, we want to be rich. Well, let's try to find ways to create value. We start trying to ways to create value. Some fail, some work, and we just optimize from there. And it also opens up the global marketplace. Like for example, like a kid in India could craft a website. He could do his thing. He has access to the global marketplace because of the decentralized nature of cryptocurrency. So I could pay a kid in India 20 bucks for a service. You could get pretty much all that 20 bucks versus now if I pay the kid in India using Western Mutual via remittances, there's like a 30% fee. And again, that's just crypto just solves that.
Hmm. So it's with all this, it sounds like we need to have a change in attitude about how we see value and how we value others around us.
Yeah, no, I would think so. I view the world as in the sense of value creation. So if you remember the scene in The Big Short, did you see that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember the scene where, and I deal with this a lot with my nature with the companies and whatever. You remember the scene when the Michael Scott character meets with the Asian shorter, or whatever the banker is,
Hmm.
and the Asian shorter is like, "Tell me your net worth," and then the Michael Scott character is like, "Ugh." So like I view that as how a lot of people act right now. But now I view people in the sense like, okay, do you do good? Do you harm people? No, great. Do you take from people? No, great. Do you add value to people? Great. So that's the lens I view people. It's like I think the value creators should be rewarded versus like the fancy suits who don't really do anything. And I think we talked about the music industry in the past. Like think of how many people are just siphoning money off the artist when the money like I think yeah, we were the ones who talked about Tupac, where it's like he died, what happened to that? That wouldn't happen in a Web3 world because Tupac would own his assets. His family could verify he owns his asset, and then they could easily pass his next of kin versus the producer just siphoning all of that off.
Yeah. Because if we look at a lot of what's happening in today's world, a lot of it leads back to a lot of inequality. That there's only a few people at the top that hold value, and they let whatever trickle down that they want to trickle down. Not
Even that, like the trickle, we both know that trickle is very small, and it's the families
yeah.
at the top. It's like the Rothschilds, the rich banking families. What inevitably ends up happening is just they got in power a while ago. They use their money to stay in power. They have legal modes. They have financial modes that no one can even touch. They fund both sides of the war, and this is all financed by fiat money. So, like, how can a rich family theoretically fund both sides of war? Well, if the U.S. people, if they had to physically take it from like a population, that'd be much harder to do versus just printing money out of thin air, and then we feel the effects of generations later. But by that time, it's too late.
Yeah. So you all the work that you do, you're trying to create that equal world, right? With the projects that you have, and um, and how you like to see AI used and things like, and all these new really techie things that are out there, right? You're trying to help create that equal world.
Yes, I'm trying to create a more equal world and a more happy world, and I view technology as a neutral case. I view blockchain as neutral. I view AI as neutral. So some people use blockchain for bad, some people use AI for bad, some people use AI for good, some people use blockchain for good. So I'm trying to inject both technologies into the masses by offering real world use cases for both sets of tech.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about some of your favorite projects right now that and how they're actually creating value in our world, and what their future could actually be.
Yeah, so I believe everyone is best. I think everyone's happiest when they're serving other people, and I think God or the Creator, whoever you want to whatever you want to call it, I think He blesses us with individual gifts that we should be authentic and leverage our individual gifts to serve other people, which is why it's important to follow your intellectual curiosity. If it's something you actually want to do, you'll do better if it's someone versus if someone's telling you what to do. So I'm working with two projects right now. The first is ShopX. That's Web3 powered e-commerce. So my overall why for this, and we went over this early in the podcast with the cryptocurrency talk. I would like to live a nice, peaceful life. I found that difficult to do if I view the money system as corrupt. That led me to physical gold, physical silver as a solution to that, which led me to Bitcoin as the ultimate solution. And ShopX is a way for me to onboard people into that ecosystem at scale. So what we do is we offer e-commerce brands incentive and ways to enter the Web3 space. So imagine this, you're an e-commerce brand, you're on Shopify, you're on WooCommerce, you can download our app, and directly within your Shopify app, you can launch your own smart contract collection and then add e-commerce benefits to that smart contract collection. So for example, Nike could launch a gold, silver, bronze style pass collection with us. The gold pass holders get product A for free. Silver pass holders get product B for 50% off. Bronze pass holders just get early access to product C. If the customer wants access to product A, they have to purchase the NFT or Web3 product. And this creates incentive for them to enter the space. And once they enter the space, it's a 0 to 1 moment at scale, which I think is awesome because I think you know, but you can't force anyone to do anything. So we're offering incentives for both customers and brands to enter the space. And when designing our products, we factor in every person. We ensure everyone win, making the system architecture sustainable. So we're like, okay, who's involved? The brand is involved. They earn higher customer loyalty. They earn revenue. They win. The brand's customers involved. Oh, they get e-commerce benefits. They win and enter the space. If they weren't getting the e-commerce benefits, they win. ShopX is involved because ShopX we earn our money when a brand makes an NFT sale. So if a brand sells one pass for $100, they get 95. We get five. We win. Our community, we share our revenue with our community for helping our ecosystem grow. So if that in that example, the brand gets 95, ShopX earns five, we get 2.5 to our community. They win for helping our ecosystem grow. Crypto at a whole wins because we're onboarding major brands like Fox TV into the space, so they win. The world wins because more people are involved in crypto. We create a more fair, more balanced ecosystem where value is rewarded, rent seeking is not rewarded. They win. Generations, I think future generations win because again, we're helping create that ecosystem. Just think about logically, like if how many hours would you have to work if you weren't getting taxed like 40%? And they're printing money anyway, so the taxing is kind of pointless. So like we give people back their time, we let them create, we help bring forward a mindset of abundance. And that's how we all win as a whole because everyone's thinking in the mindset like, how do I value? How do I leverage my natural gifts? How do I get rewarded fairly? If everyone's doing that, I think us as humans will create some cool things. So that's ShopX. My second company is Dot Inc. That's the first ever AI-powered matchmaking service. And our goal is to spread as much love as possible. So we view the dating market as kind of skewed. So in dating right now, most people meet through apps or online. Very few people meet face to face.
Yeah.
So the big problem with that is the top 5% of users, they get everyone access to everyone on the app, creating a skewed marketplace,
Hmm.
which is not good. The second issue is it's physical based. Let's be real. Tinder's hot or not. Dating apps are hot or not. You don't really get to know a person. You're like, do I like their face? Yes or no. Swipe left, swipe right. The third issue is the incentive structure of the dating app. So if Tinder were to match a happy couple, what happens? Tinder then loses a paying customer. Tinder shareholders don't like that. They like making money. And I think actually Tinder is now bought by Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs really likes making money. They don't like losing money. They're Goldman Sachs. So that the this results in something called churn marketing, which is they make their money by keeping someone on the Ferris wheel. So if you hear of someone saying, I deleted the app, I downloaded the app, I deleted the app, I downloaded the app, that's the reason why. So what Dotting does is we auto-generate profiles for you based on your digital footprint and create matches based on users' digital footprint. So I could get three matches: Ashley, Kimberly, Jane. It's like, tell me more about Jane. It's like, oh, Jane is the youngest, you're the oldest according to your Facebooks. That usually works based on our pattern recognition software. Oh, we both linked your LinkedIn. You both went to Ford University and studied business. Great, you should match there. Oh, you both linked your Instagrams. Oh, you both go to national parks. That's cool. That's another matching point. Oh, you both linked your Spotify. Did you know that this one specific artist you both follow religiously has a concert coming up in a month? Would you like me to suggest a date with Jane? From there, Cupid suggests a date with Jane. Jane sees my profile. She sees since I linked my social media. She sees my past posts, so she gets a better understanding of who I am, so she feels more comfortable. Since she linked her social media, she'll be able to see, okay, well, we have like 20 mutual friends in common. That's a good sign. Jane clicks accept. We go on the date. We fall in love. We get married. All that cool jazz. And then from there, it can act as a relationship butler. So like, okay, you guys have two kids. You haven't been on a date in 6 months. It's time to get out of the house. We recommend this babysitting service, and the place you had your third date is having a half off sale of ice cream. We suggest here. Or it can be something like, oh, just a reminder, Jane's birthday is coming up. She just added this item, this I guess this is a bracelet to her Pinterest board. It might make a good gift. So yeah, unlike Tinder's incentive is just to keep you on the app, our our incentive is to get you on that date as soon as possible because I think real connections happen in person, not like aimlessly texting or just chatting via an app. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's I to be honest with you, I never used a dating app, so it's like the scenario you
Good for
just
you.
built is like, oh,
Yeah,
um, hey, back when I was actually dating, there was like the bar scene and the meat market and all that kind of stuff,
yeah.
So
Yeah, more and more people are going online for dating, and the reason for that, and I predict that to increase. And the reason more people are going online is because it adds another buffer for rejection. Like I
uh,
personally, I like to approach girls in person. I've always had better luck that way too, so it makes sense. But if you're swiping right on the left, like if you go approach a girl and she says no, that's much more challenging than sitting behind a screen, not going out, not getting ready, just aimlessly swiping. So more people are taking the easy route out. Plus, everyone's on them, so it's like a compounding effect.
yeah. Well, it sounds like the app solves some of the um the social problems and the social awkwardness and everything because even like yeah, it's like oh I'll buy that girl over there a drink back in my day. It's like you still had to find a way to strike a conversation and to find what it is that they were actually into and liked and everything and where your commonalities were. So I see a lot of like good stuff where your app is helping each other find those commonalities so they have things to talk about, things to do together and everything, right? So
Oh
that
yeah,
part's pretty cool. Um but
and
um again, I don't want to get too go too far down a rabbit hole, but what What about some of the other social implications that, when we have the cyberbullying and things like that? It's like, is there some safeties to that where you can protect yourself from that?
Yeah, so honestly, and I love going down rabbit holes, so that's always a fun time. In terms of cyberbullying, it's commonplace on the app. Like it's like on Instagram, like social media, cyberbullying is a thing.
Hmm.
On the apps, people often. So what happens on normal dating apps is the top users get access to all the users, creating a situation of abundance, which can lead to people ghosting, treating people rudely, sending inappropriate messages. So a way around that is we've developed a karma system. So it's based on Reddit. So on dating, you have karma points. If you act politely, you go on dates, people like hanging out with you, you're just overall a pleasant person, you'll get higher karma points, and the higher karma points will match you with other karma users. If you ghost, if you're rude, you send inappropriate pictures, you just curse, you just do unsafe behavior on the app, you'll get ding karma points, and you obviously match with people around your level. So we created a sentence structure where good
Oh,
behavior is like it's encouraged. In terms of app banning, that's not something we want to do. We don't want to run an algorithm just to ban. So the cool thing about our dating app is it also helps with bots online. So if you're a male on a dating app, more often than not, you're probably talking to a chat bot trying to get you. You're talking to a fake profile because
right.
it's easy for a script to just run up like create AI-based images, one profile, one bio, spin up 100 profiles, and just start chatting to people at scale, and eventually like send them to like OnlyFans or something like that. So that's a problem in the dating app market. But with us, since you link multiple social media accounts, there's more proof of person. So it's like, yes, someone may have created a fake YouTube, a fake Spotify, a fake Instagram, a fake LinkedIn, fake Facebook, but the level of effort for that is just much higher than just creating a fake like Tinder profile. So in that sense, we protect users' time because I think time is the most important aspect. Like think about like you're a dude, you're spending half the time talking to bots, you feel like it's a waste of time. You actually do match with a real life person, but at that point you're kind of over it. And that the time also goes into our matchmaking system because like on your normal dating app, you match with someone, more often not, you have nothing in common, it becomes a waste of time. But with us, we put our users in the position to succeed. So like you're matching with someone, let's say in our
Hmm.
Spotify example, it suggested the date for us because it's like, okay, you both follow this artist, we suggest this date. But let's say it doesn't suggest that, but it still matches because of that. So I can meet this person, and then from there, that could come up organically, fostering organic connection. And the cool thing is, our app is designed to get you on that date. So the longer you're on your app, the more likely you are to get a match. So hypothetically, everyone's into different things. Like for me, let's say it gives me four people, they're all the same as me. I say no, pass, 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 pass. The algorithm will pick that up. They're like, okay, this person doesn't really like the same as him. Let me try a different type of person. I say yes to that. It tweaks. So the longer I'm on the app, the better matches I should get. And this works at scale too. So me as an individual, the longer I'm on the app, the more the app learns. But imagine that times 100, but now there's 100 people are on the app. It's learning what works for most because AI at its core is really good at pattern recognition software at scale. So yeah, like imagine like one person versus 100 versus 1,000 versus a million.
Yeah. Well, as long as is the eventual goal is to get to two people together so they can have
Oh
some
yeah.
fun, build a relationship, build a life, that sort of thing, right? That's
No, the
that's
and
that's all good.
that's our financial incentive too. So we've aligned financially with getting the people together. So our app is free. So like Tinder, most apps they charge us like if you actually want to get seen, you have to kind of pay a subscription. Otherwise, you're thrown in the bot filter. So you have to pay for apps. So their goal is to keep you on the app. Dating will make its revenue. So we're partnering with companies where people can schedule the date within the app. They can pay for the date within the app. It throws on their calendar. So they go on that date. That's how we earn our revenue. So if someone schedules a date, they like our service. Then from there, we would take a small portion of the date schedule. So it's a commission based structure. So if we
Yeah.
don't set dates, we don't make money, which I think is a much better alignment. So and that's how we would make money in the future too. It's like so our goal is to provide a if you're scheduling through our app, you obviously like the app, you like the dates we're suggesting. So then our goal is to create that match because if a person creates a
Right.
match, they schedule all their dates. Like imagine you and your wife, you schedule all your dates through dating because it's convenient. It's just the perfect date every time. You don't have to do anything. So if you're scheduling all your dates through dating, we can earn more revenue that way, and we're planning to share our revenue with our community as like a form of ambassador gifts and all that stuff.
Well, it sounds like you're abstract, not just simply you're creating a community through the app also,
And
where people are gaining commerce and things like that. You know,
oh no, so it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a community-based app where brands can like probably sell and do products. But the cool thing is, dating is just the first part. So our technology as a core, it helps people create authentic connections with other people. Dating was just easy because I mean, I'd say like I think the stat is like 300 million people are on dating apps. Less than half the percent of people are happy. And less than half the percent of people report they're happy. We both know that number is higher. So it's a very easy sell for me. It's like, hey, are you tired of dating apps? This is what they're doing. You want to try the solution?
right?
Sure, they try it because if you're on the dating app, you're on multiple. So it's an easy sell that way. But we have the power to connect people, so it doesn't have to stop. It can stop. It doesn't have to stop at dating. So it could be like, hey, dating, find me five guys in my local area who are into Muay Thai, who are into spirituality, who would like to try the soccer place. And then it could match communities that way. We're building out too, where it's like you can tap your phone. Like I could tap my phone, you could tap your phone, and then it could show us what we have in common, what we don't have in common. Maybe it's just a hangout for us two dudes. So again, it's about building that connection between people because I think and the more social and the more digital we get, the less connection, less connected we are to everyone else. But yeah, but we aim to change that.
Yeah. Y- Going to something that happened a few days ago. I don't know if it affected you. It affected my wife. It didn't affect me. Where Meta had that server crash, and large amounts of people on Facebook and Instagram and Threads, their accounts went. They crashed, and it's like, oh, they're trying to post it, and it's like the whole world was like coming to a crash because it sounds like you're trying to create a community where there isn't going to be a big crash because people are only centered on their phone. It sounds like you're trying to create a community where the phone goes back to being a tool so that I can talk to you
Yeah,
and
no,
we get together and do cool stuff late after we put the phone aside.
yeah, no, you're right. And this sounds from my personal dating ethos. So I've always been good at dating in the sense I don't spend too much time on the phone. I use the phone as simply a tool to schedule dates. So I don't really like, if we want to talk, we can meet in person. But I don't need to go back and forth. So that's kind of, I guess now that you mentioned, that's kind of spilled into dates. Like, yeah, like dating is cool and all, like, but we try to cut out I guess the BS. So like, our goal is to facilitate the match and get them in real life in person. So this solves two issues, and this might be kind of offensive, but I'll attack from both angles. So there's an issue, guys have issues with dating, and girls have issues with dating. The issues that girls have with dating is they choose poorly. They choose the bad boy. They choose the person who doesn't have their best interests at heart, and it is what it is. The issue with the guys is most guys have trouble communicating with females, and I have girlfriends who show me their phone. They show me the way the guys talk. It's just not good. So from there, we help facilitate the match, and we help the conversation go until the point of date. So like until you date, the only option you have for communication is you can have a FaceTime call or you'll be able to have a VR date. But we want to minimize the mindless back and forth of just like texting because it's like, okay, this person's a match. We want you to find out if they're a match as quickly as possible. Because if you don't, that's an opportunity cost for you to find the right person,
Mm-hmm.
which only happens on offline.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Cool. So, what is with all of your projects, this ShopX and the AI dating app and everything? What is your ultimate goal for our world and for the people that work with you?
Yeah, so I think everyone has two goals. I think everyone has an inner purpose and an outer purpose. So I think everyone's inner purpose is the same, and that's to raise your own level of consciousness. So I think of everything in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. So when you're saying you're sad, when you're saying you're happy, when you're saying you're loving, when you're saying you're joyous, you're saying I'm vibrating at a specific frequency. And just like a radio station, if you tune to a specific radio
Mm-hmm.
frequency, you get that radio station. So if you're tuning to this vibration of sadness, you attract sad people. If you're tuning to vibration of joy, you attract joyous people. So my overall goal is to raise my own level of consciousness as high as it can go. And what this inevitably does is it raises those level of consciousness of those around me. So it creates a positive upward spiral, which is why I love going on podcasts. So let's say someone leaves this podcast, they leave it a little better, they go out in the world because they've risen a little bit. It raises those around them, and those around them, creating that positive upward spiral. The outer purpose is how do I manifest my gift, or how do I leverage my personal gifts into this inner to serve my inner purpose and serve other people. So this just so happened to manifest in both Web3 e-commerce because I'm really interested in Web3 and AI powered matchmaking because I'm really interested in dating and matchmaking. So it worked out well. The ShopX overall goal is to have 80% of all NFTs be ShopX ENFTs, and that's doable with our solution. The overall goal for dating or dating is to match over 1 billion happy couples. And again, that's also doable because it's a very scalable solution. Everyone I talk to loves the app, so I think both those goals will be accomplished.
Yeah. You know what, Eric? We're starting to run out of time.
Yeah,
This is cool because we've really been chatting up a lot of what you do. Um, One last question, and then the best ways to get a hold of you. Um, what is it? Or should I say, if you could describe in a few sentences the ultimate world you're trying to create for our society with your projects, um, what does that look like?
so for in terms of Web3, let's separate those two. In terms of Web3, we want to create a freer, more equal society, meaning like anyone can join the ecosystem, anyone can create a product, anyone can try something, and there's not just a group of people just siphoning off money and making everything harder for other people. For dotting, we want to create a more connected world. So right now we live in a very disconnected world. People are on their phones. Yes, they're connected to more people. Yes, the degrees of separation between everyone is less. But on the flip side, we have less connections. We have less friends. We have less family. People are overall less happy, and that is because of the lack of actual relationships. So that's something we're trying to help there.
Cool, awesome. Best ways to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so if you're interested in ShopX Web3 e-commerce, the best place to do that would be shopx.co. If you're interested in AI-powered matchmaking, it'd be dating.io. But overall, I'm really just trying to be as helpful as possible. My Instagram would be the best place to do that. So ERICDMCHUGH. Feel free to hit me up anytime, and I'm
Okay, cool. We'll put most of those links in the show notes for everybody to find later on. And thank you for listening to everybody. And thank you, Eric. It sounds like you're actually using technology for the good of the people, and that's an amazing thing.
No, and likewise too. So thank you for hosting me. You're sharing good news with good people through your podcast. So grateful to have been here, dude.
All right. Find that subscribe button wherever it may be on your screen, and you can hear more people like Eric trying to create a better world for us.
Help us to go.
This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.